being ridiculous. Get back into your pod. You can't fit two.
Marvel has done something genuinely evil to us. They trained an entire generation of movie fans to sit through 8 minutes of credits, stare at thousands of names, and refuse to leave the cinema because, what if Dr. Doom appears for 7 seconds? But some of those scenes went absolutely nowhere. We're talking villains who vanished, signals still broadcasting into space, heroes trapped in other universes, swords waiting to be picked up, and an entire stadium of bad guys whose storyline was basically destroyed by events outside Marvel's control. So keep your eyes on number 1, because that wasn't just an unresolved post-credit scene, that one may have helped reshape the MCU's entire future. At number 8, we have Ayesha's revenge project from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Remember this one? Rocket robs Ayesha's people. Ayesha is humiliated, and she decides she's had enough. She tells her council that she's growing something inside a golden cocoon. Not a pet, not a new assistant, a weapon specifically created to destroy the Guardians. And she gives him a name, Adam. Oh. For 6 years, fans went crazy with theories. People connected the cocoon to a similar-looking pod seen in the Collector's Museum. Others imagined this incredibly powerful, god-tier character arriving as a major threat straight from the comics. Then, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 arrived, and yes, Adam Warlock finally appeared, played by Will Poulter. But this was not exactly the terrifying golden apocalypse people had imagined. He was sheltered. He wasn't particularly bright. He was basically a very powerful man-child running around in gold. The character became more comedic than the revenge weapon the original scene appeared to promise. And Ayesha's revenge plan? Well, it technically happened. Adam attacks the Guardians in Volume 3, but the movie quickly shifts his story toward the High Evolutionary, Rocket, and Adam's own growth. So the huge revenge storyline teased in 2017 became a much smaller part of the actual movie. The scene specifically set up Adam as her weapon against the Guardians, but that exact plot never really received the huge payoff fans had expected. Adam arrived, yes. The original revenge promise? Well, that quietly evaporated. At number 7, we need to talk about the Collector. In Thor: The Dark World, Sif and Volstagg deliver the ether to him for safekeeping. They leave. The Collector looks around and says, 1 down, 5 to go. At the time, that line felt massive. It sounded like the Collector had a plan, like this strange cosmic hoarder was secretly building toward his own Infinity Stone mission. Maybe he wanted all 6. Maybe he had a bigger agenda. Then Infinity War arrived, and Thanos basically went, "Nice collection, mine now." Thanos takes the Reality Stone and destroys the place. That's it. No major rivalry, no negotiation, no explanation of what the Collector intended to do with the Infinity Stones. The post-credit scene appeared to introduce his own grand scheme, but that agenda was quietly dropped. At number 6, Monica Rambeau is currently having possibly the worst travel experience in MCU history. At the end of the Marvels, Monica sacrifices herself to seal the universe-threatening tear in space. She survives. Good news. She wakes up in another reality. Bad news. And then Kelsey Grammer's Hank McCoy appears. Beast. He casually mentions someone named Charles. Marvel knew exactly what it was doing there. This was one of the clearest signals that the Fox X-Men world was formally entering the MCU's multiverse story. But the Marvels badly underperformed at the box office, and no Monica Rambeau project has been confirmed since. So Teyonah Parris's Monica is still stuck in another reality, nearly 3 years of cosmic limbo. Beast showed up, mentioned Charles, gave fans an X-Men-sized heart attack, and then Marvel closed the door. At number 5, Moon Knight introduced its most dangerous personality and immediately disappeared. Mark and Steven believe they finally escaped Khonshu. Freedom. Beautiful. Roll credits. Except, no. The mid-credit scene reveals a third personality, Jake Lockley, and Jake is not arriving for group therapy. He calmly executes Arthur Harrow on Khonshu's orders, revealing that another personality had been in control without Mark and Steven fully understanding what was happening. It was a brutal ending. More importantly, it practically screamed for a second season. Jake was cold, efficient, dangerous, and then silence. Oscar Isaac has spent the years since giving carefully non-committal answers. At one point, he even suggested the character might return in a movie instead, but as of mid-2026, there's still no green-lit continuation. At number 4, somewhere in the universe, the Ten Rings are still sending a message. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings ends with Wong bringing Shang-Chi and Katie into a video call with Bruce Banner and Captain Marvel. They examine the rings, and they discover something strange. The rings are broadcasting a signal. Where did the rings come from? Unknown. Where is the signal going? Unknown. Who might be receiving it? Also unknown. Okay, Marvel, thanks. Very helpful. This was one of the cleanest sequel hooks the studio has ever created. Simu Liu has described Shang-Chi 2 as definitely happening, and director Destin Daniel Cretton recently confirmed that the sequel is still in development. But nearly 5 years after the first movie, Marvel still hasn't announced a release date. So the signal is still signaling. At number 3, Doctor Strange went for a walk and immediately got recruited for multiversal emergency repair. In Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Strange meets Clea, played by Charlize Theron. She tells him his actions have caused an incursion, and the two leave to fix it. Now, this could become extremely important because incursions are expected to play a major role in Secret Wars. It may also help explain Benedict Cumberbatch's absence from the Avengers Doomsday cast list mentioned in the information here. But what have Strange and Clea actually been doing? We don't know. Did they repair the incursion? Did they make things worse? Are they still traveling? The scene sent Doctor Strange directly into a massive multiverse mission, and we're still waiting to see what happened. At number 2, Sharon Carter became the power broker and apparently walked straight out of the MCU. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier finale revealed that Sharon Carter was secretly Madripoor's criminal kingpin. Then she gets pardoned. She is reinstated as a government agent. And almost immediately, the post-credit scene shows her planning to sell state secrets. Well, that's dangerous. This wasn't a tiny joke scene. It appeared to set up a slow villain arc where Sharon could use her government access to expand her criminal operation. And then, Emily Van Camp's Sharon Carter vanished. She didn't appear in Captain America: Brave New World. She hasn't appeared in another MCU project since. Even critics have directly pointed to this as one of the franchise's more glaring wasted setups. 5 years of silence after a reveal that looked like it was supposed to matter. And finally, number 1, the Council of Kangs. This is different, because this storyline didn't simply get delayed. Real-life events completely changed the situation. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania introduced the Council of Kangs in its mid-credit scene. Immortus, Rama-Tut, the Scarlet Centurion, and an entire amphitheater filled with Jonathan Majors variants. The message was incredibly clear: Kang was coming, the Council was gathering, and Marvel was building toward Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. Then, weeks later, Jonathan Majors was arrested. By December 2023, after Majors was convicted of reckless assault and harassment, Marvel dropped him. And here's where the story gets complicated. Marvel eventually abandoned the Avengers: The Kang Dynasty title and announced Avengers Doomsday with Robert Downey Jr. playing Dr. Doom. And if you enjoyed diving into Marvel's forgotten setups, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notifications, because the Marvel Cinematic Universe has left plenty more loose threads for us to pull apart. Thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you in the next one.